building chemistry, getting familiar with the guys. Obviously, anytime you're traded mid-season, sometimes you're just hoping to fit in, you know what I mean, and not rock the boat. Now it's kind of about establishing, building the arc, I guess, in a biblical sense.
Lots been made about Jalen moving on to and right. So how do you feel about yourself getting a chance to build in that?
I don't really see myself filling Jalen's role per se, right? I think if you look at the team holistically, Jalen's a great playmaker, scored about 16, 17 points a game. I think Tim historically is around that 15 per game or so mark. So in theory, right, you're replacing offensive production there. You're trying to we got a little bit bigger. We and more talented with Christian Wood and JaVale McGee, obviously, in terms of rim protection. Christian Wood's versatility, be able to play the 4 to 5, step out, shoot threes, as well as play above the rim. And then for me, I mean, it's going to be go out there and make plays. Remember, J. Kidd last year said, get the ball to Luka, JB, and then Spencer, and let them make plays and everybody else do their job. I think now, obviously, volume goes up, but mentality doesn't necessarily change. There were a lot of games I finished games. There were games I played without Luka, without JB, where I started as well. So in terms of mentality, green means go make plays, try to win the game.
Hey, Spence, last year at this time, you were coming back from an injury and building your way up. This year, we've seen the social media. You've been working out real hard, working out with KD. You talk about your offseason this year going into the Mavericks as opposed to last year going into Washington.
Oh, I mean, it's night and day. It's not even remotely close. Obviously, last year was a rehab year. I got cleared to play ACL, from the ACL in 5 months. I think first game was 8 or so months away from surgery. Now we're, another year, 20 months outside from that. So, if you ask anybody that's been through any major injury, to even be able to come back that quickly is definitely a testament to the work, but it's just completely different being almost 2 years removed. It's night and day, and, all of you guys, I'm sure, have had some type of experience in that realm. So it's a normal off-season, full training load, not worried about swelling or taking a break or 2 days on and 1 day off. It's just, let's get to it.
How much have you and Finney-Smith talked about, back-to-backs or load management? Do you feel like your minutes going to increase significantly? What do you think?
I know the Mavericks in general consistently watch minutes for all players. I haven't had any specific conversations. I think historically, if you look at my career in the NBA, people talk about injuries, but it's actually kind of a misnomer. My first 2 seasons when I didn't play, that was DNP coach decisions. Wasn't hurt. They just thought I wasn't good enough. So it is what it is. And then from years 3 through 8. Right, I only missed 1 season. That was obviously the very apparent ACL season. But other than that, I mean, when I got to the Nets, I think first year I played 51 out of 54 games. Next season I played 70-some. One season I played 81. The next year, the COVID year, I think it was, I played all 65 pre-bubble games and I caught COVID. So that was when everybody thought you were going to die with COVID. Now no jokes. It was when I caught it, everybody was like, oh no, what's going to happen to his heart and all this other stuff. So it was a serious thing. Now, I mean, obviously it's more so you'll be all right in a week. But, yeah, so I think in terms of worrying about injuries or anything of that nature has not really ever been my focus in the NBA. And given a good off season with the guys that I've been able to train with, I feel 100% healthy. So I'm happy, and if they choose to send me back-to-backs, that's on them. And I'm sure we'll have a plan, but we haven't talked about it.
What stood out to you in some of those runs, whether it's yourself in the field or some other guys that you guys are activating?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's been nice to see Tim get back out there, obviously, from his foot injury. I think it's been nice to see Jaden Hardy play. I think he's got a lot of wiggle to his game. If you guys saw him on Instagram, he had a couple of days where he was, getting some buckets. Overall, I think having everybody be in the gym, locked in, bought in shape, all that, and the only person missing being obviously Luka, but seeing him lead his team in Euro basketball, I think it bodes well for the start of the season. I think nobody wants to have a slow start like last year. I wasn't here for that, but it's definitely something that was talked about.
Mindset.
Oh man, the Bible. I mean, no. Look, I completely understand. I know narratives are part of how this thing works. They sometimes conflict with how you view yourself internally. I don't know. I would never have considered my career dead. Like to me, I think that overall it's been a resounding success, right? Like, you know, I was probably 100. I was like 140th in my high school class. Wasn't McDonald's, anything like that. Went to Colorado over Harvard. So not recruited by many blue bloods outside of UCLA. You know, by the end of my freshman year, I was runner-up freshman of the year to Tony Roden, who had a phenomenal rookie year at Washington. Was on draft boards by then, had, you know, another solid season, still on draft boards as a sophomore year, went back, you know, tore my ACL, it is what it is, which I guess started the injury narrative. Was relatively healthy most of my career, had a season I averaged 20 points, should have made the All-Star team, you know, but names and things, whatever. But, you know, overall, I mean, I don't look at it that way. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to try to co-pilot with a top 5 probably player in the NBA and try to improve upon last year. And I think we have the talent to do that. And I'm just looking forward to it.
You guys were a Final Four team last year. Did you feel like you guys were regarded that way initially? You know, or do you feel like maybe there's still something to prove for you guys?
Collectively, of course, right? We fell short. We didn't win a championship. Right, so there's always going to be another step to take and more to prove. I think that just kind of comes with the fact that, like I said, we have a top 5 player and no other player that's made an All-Star team. So, you know, if you look at it like that, even though that's probably familiar to the Mavs fan base and, you know, the MFFLs believe in us, it's not something that's probably going to get as much recognition nationwide. Just from the standpoint of you're used to seeing 2-3 max guys on a roster and them kind of leading that team. So I think that's probably why. There's a disconnect between maybe local and national, but overall, I think if we can have another season like last year, and obviously not lose to Golden State, then you know we continue to build upon what we did.
Since you've been in Dallas, like this is the best you've shot behind the arc.
Yeah.
Threes. How much of that is just personal improvement? How much is the shots you're taking? Is there another factor that would have amplified it over the past few months?
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously everybody continues to improve as they get older and their game grows, but a lot of that probably has to do with the team. This is probably the best spacing that I played with in my career. Just looking at all the different guys on the roster, you know, nobody really wants to leave. Playing with, obviously, Louis going to keep his man. Bullock, they don't want to leave him when he's in, you know, shooting position. Doe the same way. Obviously, you know, DP, I know he gets a lot of flack sometimes, but he was one of the best lob catchers in the league. Right, and then you bring Maxey in, he's a great floor spacer. I mean, he's one of the main reasons we were able to beat Utah. You know, he made Gobert think twice about, you know, coming in to block shots. And so that really puts you on a, like, clear and present island. Like, sometimes, you know, on other teams, and spacing is not the same. And that's throughout my career. It's just personnel-based, right? It's no shot at them or anything like that. It's just, you know, sometimes teams come together and they're conducive to talent. And I think in terms of, like, my specialty is being able to play one-on-one. I think, like, that's what I've done throughout my career in terms of advanced statistics and stuff like that, like typically in the, you know, top 5 or so in the league. So that makes my job a lot easier when there's far less help defense.
Does your mindset have to be into the decision to choose Colorado and Harvard?
No, so basically it just came down to basketball. I wanted to go to Pac-12. I wanted to go to the NBA. I know that going to Harvard probably meant it was going to be, if I did go to the NBA, a 4-year journey versus, you know, possibly leaving in 2, which I had the opportunity to do at Colorado. So that's really all it came down to at the end of the day. But those were the 2, like, very clear choices for me.
Does your mindset have to be different when you go from a bench role to, say, a starter role? And what aspects to your game, specifically skill set-wise, did you work on this offseason?
Maybe more smoothies, going from a bench role to a starting role, being that I am the smoothie king. It's probably the main difference. And then what I work on this offseason, I took a lot of time on my body to begin with. just because obviously you're going to continue to work and having been off a long season, ACL, all that stuff, being very diligent about those pieces. And then, just the typical spot up shooting and being able to play with Luka, and then, of course, one-on-one for when he's not in there, and, reads and making plays happen in the 5-on-5 and, just not turn the ball or stuff like that.
You guys have had some RC change-ups. What's it going to take to get back to a Western Conference Finals?
I think it comes down to chemistry. I think what made last year's team so special was the chemistry that it had and how, like, the sum of its parts became better than any individual talent. And I kind of listed out our roster already in terms of swapping out production possibly and, where we can be more talented and what we lost. If you look at it holistically, we should be better on paper. But it comes down to how we kind of mesh as a group, and that's down to the people in the locker room.
Going into your first full year with this team, how much more of a voice and presence do you want to have when it comes to assisting with the leadership of this group, knowing that you're a veteran in this league?
I think that's a very big part, right? Stepping into a starting role, you understand where we went, having that experience, playing Western Conference Finals, and so it's definitely a piece of the equation in terms of stepping into that leadership role and helping guide some of the younger guys for sure.
All right, thank you guys. Tim's right here.